Man, you learn a hard lesson here and there in prison. I tell you that. And this one particular morning, I'll never forget. Um, I learned a lesson that kind of stays with me to this day. And to get into it, basically, it was breakfast time. I'm in the chow hall, and breakfast is already a stressful situation. Let me explain something to you. Just to get to the chow hall on the prison that I'm talking about, a guard would be following you with a dog. The dog's barking for no apparent reason. You're surrounded by barbed wire fences and, chain links and all this stuff. And when you're going into the chow hall, there's guards standing up over top with weapons pointed down at your head in case you make a weird move. And also, when you get into the chow hall, you'll notice as you look up in the doorway or above the doorway, there's a tower inside the chow hall where another CO is standing there with a weapon pointed at you to let off rubber projectiles, etc. And you've got to go through this narrow, half-bricked corridor to get your tray out of a slot, a hole in the wall. You can't even see who's serving your tray or what they're doing to it, by the way, on the way out. And you take your tray and you go sit down on a metal bench, metal stool, metal stoop, whatever, and you eat your tray on that metal table, and then you get up out there. And your coffee, it's not real coffee in there, it's chicory. That's what they got. They at least where I was at, it's chicory. Or you just drank water, or they give you a pouched apple juice. Breakfast this morning that I'm talking about was two biscuits, grits watered down like milk. And by the way, the biscuits were like hockey pucks. And two boiled eggs and some jelly. That was the breakfast. That was it. It was barely enough to feed a toddler. But when you're hungry, especially from the night before, because you didn't have commissary, man, you've been waiting on breakfast. And this is going to help you at least feel a little bit full, even if it's for just a few minutes. And we're in line. Line's moving. Hey, my tray's getting ready to come up. 3 or 4 guys in front of me. All of a sudden, the line stops. Skirt. So I'm like, what's good? You hear guys fussing. Yo, where the biscuits at? Next thing you know, it's traveling down the line. Hey, y'all, we going to hold up right here until we get our biscuits because it's already known if you put something on one person's tray, we need to have that too. And you don't want to be the guy that says, no, I'm cool. I'll take the sliced bread over the biscuits. Though some of y'all saying bread is bread, it's not the fact that it's bread, it's the principle. And if you just take any tray that they put out this window after they ran out of something and you allow them to substitute, then they're basically going to do whatever they want to do when it comes to the trays, food menu, etc. going forward. So as I'm listening to the guys in front of me and now as word travel say, yo, we going to hold up right here until they get the biscuits, I'm like, cool. Because again, I'm not going to be the guy that breaks protocol. I'm going to fall in line, literally. Next thing I know, it went from, guys talking trash, all amped up. Yeah, we're going to wait till we get our biscuits. Y'all going to have to get that right. We're going to be standing here all day. To all of a sudden, a lieutenant, I'm going to call him Lieutenant C for the sake of this story, walked in. Lieutenant C, mind you, was only about 5'2". He was built like Prince, I promise you. And for whatever reason, this dude was hyper aggressive. And he caused fear in the hearts of the men there, not because he was some whatever. He was 5'2". He barely weighed 100. But what he often did was he would get you in, whether you're in a holding cell, watch commander's office, whatever, make sure you were cuffed, and then he would strike you. He would basically, put you in a situation where you were defenseless before he got you. And oftentimes you'd be outnumbered because he called the goon squad. So when he came in, guys was already trying to get out the way. Next thing you know, they start moving through the line, taking a sliced bread. But me, I'm like, nah. We said we was gonna wait for the biscuits. I'm young, I'm hot-headed, I'm everything, right? But I'm committed at this point. I do not want to see, or I don't want everybody to see me fold. All y'all could fold, but I'm gonna wait. Matter of fact, I know I'm gonna be okay. I can't get in trouble, right? Next thing I look up, everybody's gone. I'm the only one in line waiting for the biscuits. Everybody else they took the sliced bread. No, this is not about bread, y'all. But they took that bread. I get here, I'm stuck. The lieutenant walks up to me. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm waiting for my biscuits. They said they was gonna make some biscuits. That's what I'm waiting for. He was like, get out of line. He made this big old scene in front of the dorm and everybody. Because now I'm the only one bucking. I don't got no camouflage. Everybody else has fled. I am by myself. Where did everybody go? I thought y'all went hard. That's literally what I was saying, by the way. as he's pulling me out of line with the other two COs. And of course, as Lieutenant C often and always did, immediately he had his COs, his constituents, cuff me behind my back and march me to the watch commander's office. I can tell you this. There's no cameras in the watch commander's office, and at the time he was under investigation because a complaint had been made that he was beating dudes, him and some other COs, in that office where there was no cameras, and guys were demanding that cameras be placed there. They're there everywhere else in the institution. And man, when they pulled me in that office, I was cuffed behind my back. He got in my face screaming and shaking as if I was being aggressive towards him, and I wasn't. I was cuffed behind my back, and I knew by the way he was taking his cuffs off his waist, he was getting ready to strike me. And just as he was getting ready to do that, I'll never forget it. An officer by the name Officer H, and Officer T, a white lady and a black dude. He was the normal CO for the pod that I was housed in, and kind of had been watching all this transpire. He came out of nowhere. He came straight into the watch commander office, not out of nowhere. She came with him, and he didn't ask her nothing. He grabbed me by my arm while I was cuffed, behind. He's like, LT, I got him. He's one of mine. Don't mind him. And he walked me out the office quick. And it was so fast, the lieutenant was like, you could tell he was confused. And I could also tell in hindsight to this day that, Officer H put his job at risk because he just came and snatched me up out that office. And before we get all the way down the boulevard, he uncuffed me. And he just told me, he said, man, you got to tighten up. And the white lady, too, the CO, she was like, these guys ain't for you. You got to, it's just you by yourself. That's how she was talking. And I said, you know what? Y'all are right. And it's, man, listen, it's something that needs to be paid attention to, whether you're in the street or just in life, man. A lot of people talk like they willing, you know what I'm saying? But most ain't going to go. And at the end of the day, it's going to be you that's going to have to deal with the consequences. So, hey, man, if you're going to be different or in a position where you can get singled out, do it for right cause. Don't do it for the biscuits. You know what I'm saying? And make sure everybody around you is a stand-up person like they say they are. Peace.